Whoa! Let's go! Nice job, Jolty, coming in big. Oh my. C9 paid me, yes me, to coach these two teams to win their $2,500 tournament, and our team won. This is how it all happened. So a little about me. I'm royalG, a Radiant player who used to play CSGO semi-professionally. I came to Valorant about a year and a half ago to chase my dreams. Now I make funny videos and also make guides on Valorant fundamentals.
That royalG?
Oh, fuck.
I see this as an absolute win.
So how did someone like me even end up here? Holy shit, hey, you guys are the winners, let's go, dude! Well, funny you asked, because to be honest, I wasn't really supposed to be here. But because of special circumstances, I ended up becoming a guest coach for C9 Training Grounds. C9 has this program called C9 Training Grounds that lets players who are trying to learn and train like pros try out to join one of two leagues, the Development League and the Performance League. The Development League is for lower ranked players who are trying to get a better idea of the fundamentals and get a feel for team play, while the Performance League is for higher ranks who want to start understanding proper team play and learn what it's like to play on an actual team. Through the tryouts, 8 teams get picked for each league, and 4 coaches are assigned 2 teams each, who they'll instruct and guide throughout 7 weeks in order to help them improve in a more structured setting. And near the end, teams enter playoffs and compete to win a prize pool of $2,500. I was a guest coach for the Performance League, but that doesn't answer why I'm here. Actually, it was one of my old teammates during my college days that pulled me in. This is C9 Strawberry. He works in C9 to help manage the training grounds, and as it turns out, he needed some help. One of the coaches that were originally interviewed and selected for the Performance League suddenly had some issues, and had to withdraw due to scheduling conflicts. And James needed to find someone to replace him before his head gets chopped off by management. Wait, why does this sound like an anime? This is where I came in. James messaged me about joining the league out of the blue, and I was a bit hesitant at first because I've never coached a team and it technically conflicted with my schedule too. But because he's a friend and it seemed kind of interesting, I decided to give it a try. Anyways, that's how I ended up becoming a C9 Training Grounds coach. Fast forward to the first day of the league.
Yeah, let's do this, guys. We got it.
I'm a little bit nervous. C9 Training Grounds has this big Discord server with all these people that I assume have been here for a while, and I'm just this new guy joining for the first time. But of course, I already made the choice to join, so there's no looking back. When it was time to start, we all joined a channel for introducing the league and the coaches, and like 100 people showed up. I'm not too sure what to say and what to expect, so I kind of just wing it. Hey there, what's up guys? I'm Royal, and I'm a pretty new coach that just came in. C9 kind of just pulled me off the streets, and basically this is my first performance league. So when everything regarding the league was explained, everyone that were assigned to me moved to a channel so we could begin our first day of training. But before we started, we of course did an icebreaker. All right, James, you still here? James oh wait, James.
No, I'm here. I never left.
Yeah.
I'm just multitasking.
Give me an icebreaker. What's an icebreaker that you can?
Ooh. Okay. Let's go with like, give us one of your deepest, darkest secrets. Not the darkest.
Okay,
but a dark one.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's your biggest pet peeve in a player?
Oh, pet peeve? When people, like, let's say we hop into a competitive match and Valorant type shit, okay, and people, like, don't give a fuck about trying, you know, they just...
Just as an aside, the teams chosen for this league were all balanced based on rank and other factors like their main role, their tendencies, and some for leadership qualities. Overall, the idea is that every team in the league has a fair shot at winning the whole thing, and it's just up to their individual efforts as well as a coach's guidance to lead them to the championship. Like I said, I'm not the most experienced with team coaching. Some of the coaches here have been around for years, and this isn't their first rodeo. I've never coached a team before, but I have experience playing with teams and also have a good idea of how to improve in Valorant. Also, I felt like it was important that everyone was on the same page as me since it was our first day, so I went with the approach of a professor teaching new students for my course, royalG's Valorant. Don't forget to buy the textbooks. So before we continue, I wanted to say that if you're interested in this kind of experience, you can join in too. Recently, C9 Training Grounds was acquired by their performance partner FitGamer, who train all of Cloud9's pro teams. In the process, they've revamped the league, and FitGamer wanted to help me help you guys by offering a sweet deal. If you use my code royalG, you can gain access to a free month of coaching from the Training Grounds Discord. At the same time, this code also gets you $10 off any purchases related to the Training Grounds, including registration to their Performance League brought to you by Mana. So if by the end of the series you're interested in joining this league for yourself, I highly recommend giving it a try. Registration closes on April the 19th. The most important single thing in this game is your mechanical ability. I live by a rule for team play. If you want to be a great team player, start with being a great player first. What I mean by this is, if you want to play well with a team, you need to first be individually skilled, because when it comes to team play, one mistake in a strategy can result in a lot of complications, which also means if your individual skill is a problem, your mistakes become your teammates' mistakes, and that means everyone suffers. Since these players aren't top Radiant players looking to break into the pro scene, but just passionate players trying to improve efficiently, individual skill is always going to be a big area for improvement. My goal essentially is to make each player in these teams a super soldier of individual mechanics, because I feel like that's the most efficient path to getting good. So after all the introductions and explanations, I hopped into the range and demonstrated how to counter-strafe and all the major insights behind mastering movement with aim. In my opinion, this is the most foundational skill for a player and something necessary to see major improvement. After demonstrating the technique and my approach to improving aim and movement, I then reviewed them as they tried it out.
Dang, this
Right.
feels so good. What the heck?
What?
Just being able to counter strafe and just go into the thing. This feels so much better than what I was doing before, which was counter strafing and then flicking.
I wanted the players to think a bit more about insights related to aiming, so I left them a little intellectual exercise to start the next practice on. After all this, I was a little bit exhausted. Apart from the nervousness of beginning what seems like a pretty long journey and also the fact that this was my first time, I think I did pretty well. Oh, and we also decided on team names. One team decided to name themselves Nurikabe, and the other team decided on royalG. I don't know how to feel about that. Day 2 comes along, and as expected, we began by discussing the statement I left for them to think about, which was, the better your aim gets, the less you'll need it. My goal for the day is to instill the idea that good aim isn't very well understood. On one end, good aim isn't about flashy adjustments, but efficient ones. The more your aim improves, the more it looks clean. But of course, the statement itself isn't necessarily true either. The better your aim gets, the more you could use it to create advantages as well, which means you'll want to use it more. And if you want to take a step deeper, this is also to say that good aim creates more opportunities. And for a final loop back to the original considerations, a good aimer realizes that flashy aim isn't how you take advantage of good aim, but finding situations where you can use aim efficiently to achieve a goal. Anyways, it's basically a philosophy question, so we can go all day about it. That's the point, so I know what you're thinking, stop calling me a nerd. To build upon this in more practical terms, I wanted to showcase how good aim works in a game, so naturally that meant showing my players how to properly peek and clear angles. Usually, then I'd clear up top here if there was a guy, but I would kind of jump peek this in general, but essentially, if I'm going to clear up this way. And of course, it's also to let these guys realize that despite how simple it looks, clearing an area efficiently is actually exceptionally technical and aim intensive. Peeking is a skill that everyone knows but few actually understand. There are a ton of different considerations when peeking, and a lot of the insights behind it are hard to figure out without guidance. Where do you think this head is at, right? You're imagining an enemy head being wherever your angle you're clearing, and then you're stopping your counter strafe so that if you peek into that, you are able to hit that head. Right. Not only that, once you learn how to peek properly, the way you approach different angles and place your crosshair changes fundamentally as well, which is why to me, learning how to peek is such an important topic to cover. So once we covered peeking and clearing angles, it was getting a little late. So since there was no time to learn anything new and not enough time to play a practice match, I just had everyone get into a custom lobby and do some guided deathmatch, where I told everyone to focus on peeking properly and avoiding spraying. The goal is to put everything we learned to practice a little bit, and once that was finished, we called it on our second day of practice. Alright, I hope everyone spent these 5 minutes to kind of think about what their goal is entering this league, and also what their goal is as goal setting is a heavily underrated aspect for players trying to improve, because it's not something people talk about or think about very often. When it comes down to it, a goal like, I want to be the champion, or I want to be good at the game, isn't very useful. I wanted the players to become aware of what the reason for doing this is above the shallow surface level ideas like those goals, and really understand what they wanted out of this league. Of course, my goal overall was to make sure these guys would be set up for success down the line even after the league, regardless of the outcome inside the league. Learning to understand their goals and real reasons for playing is a big step in long-term success. And of course, this doesn't apply only to external goals either. Goal setting is a very important and underrated part of Valorant as well. What I mean here is talking about defaults and having a game plan. A common misconception people have about defaulting is that it's supposed to be about spreading out and gathering information, but that's not the case. The point of a default at the end of the day is to have a set of goals and actions that your team can consistently play around. Spreading out and gathering information could be a type of default, but it's not the only thing a default is. Most teams also have multiple defaults, like a main control, or mid control, or a spread default. and at the same time, different game plans could use different defaults. A hard execute team might want to have a faster paced default for control, while a slower lurk heavy team would want to focus on denying information or finding gaps. But most importantly, you need the game plan first. This is where I felt that my teams were ready to start giving practice matches a try, so I started a custom game and had the teams separate into their own respective Discord channels. Meanwhile, I also gave each team a game plan to follow. After all, it's important to get practical experience with what we learn, and it's also what I imagine sounds more fun than sitting in a Discord listening to a guy explain for hours on end. School is for that. In my mind, I would just watch, analyze, and give advice, and then we'd call it a day. But unfortunately, that's not quite what happened. Turns out, while the Royals were closer to my mindset of how to approach the game by keeping things simple, royalgftw went the more complicated route of trying to play with strats right off the bat. And because no one really knew what each other expected, things didn't quite go to plan, and some arguments started.
A lot to main.
Don't pick that, don't pick that. Watch that, watch that, watch that. I'm gonna smoke this.
I'm just holding. Yeah.
Can't raise, get up there, can't raise, get up there, can't raise, get up there. Go top mid, top mid.
No, we already got a pick. We already got a pick.
I want them top mid to take space. I'm gonna stay mid.
Bombs there.
No, we shouldn't be pushing that. We already had a pick.
No, it's fine, it's fine. That push is perfectly fine. And you know how sometimes you can see two people arguing with each other, but neither are correct, but they think they're correct? Well, that was the case here, so I had to step in.
Not
But the
when
play
they
was
were
already in
already
motion. The play is already
Play was-
halfway in
yeah,
motion.
they
How
were-
is
they
it
were
already
out
in
mid.
motion after he?
Okay,
right
so-
when he
If
called
you're
it?
mid, if you're in the middle of catwalk, you are not turning back.
Yeah,
How are they in the middle of catwalk? I called
I'm
it.
looking.
They were
I'm looking
just
at this
pushing.
from the. I'm looking at the mini map the whole time while I'm watching this play.
yeah. When you got the pick, that they were already out mid.
Yeah, I'd already smoked cat for them to get up cat. And then I saw you get the pick, and I'm like, okay, so that's contact B lobby. That's mid control. We need to push up and get some presence at top cat, because then they have nowhere to go. They can just sneak by us, right? There's no reason to get a pick on B main and then say, let's pull our cat guys back and give them mid spawn in A main for free, right?
Eventually, I felt like a much bigger talk was needed with the players on royalgftw because it felt like they weren't on the same page and didn't understand each other. So we had a call after the practice game. Like maybe you guys have some sort of like unique approach to the game that's like building that like the pizza of gods, right? Like the fried chicken pizza that Valid put in, and then adding the pepperonis, and then Prima Corum bringing in like the best pizza bread like he's ever like tasted. You guys assemble this like awesome looking pizza, and you give someone a taste, and they might be like, holy crap, like this is the wave, right? Or someone could taste it and be like, okay, this tastes like shit. You guys just need to be happy with it, like the product together. And after all was said and done, that ended our first week of the C9TG League. I hope that the conversation I had with royalgftw would help them understand that the goal was to improve and learn together, but I still had some concerns. And let's just say, those concerns became very, very real. For this series, we'll have 2 more videos. The first heading into the regular season matches, and for the last video, all about the playoffs. Just wanted to give you guys a roadmap for context. Lots of stuff ahead, so take it easy and stay tuned.